Hi, everyone, and welcome to season 4, episode 6 of High Scores, High Stakes, the podcast that swings for the fences but always strikes out. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Luvva, and with me is my co host.
Good evening, love. It's Tomahawk here. It's our mid-season episode.
It
Where
is,
has
yeah.
the last 6 weeks gone?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mad, like absolutely mad. I'm sitting here thinking like the prep that we put in for this, and half the season's over in the blink of an eye.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah, it's a weird one. It's one of those ones where it's gone super quick. Once you get into the sort of like routine of playing, recording, and then recording a podcast, and then it just seems like a conveyor belt of games. But at the same
oh
time,
yeah,
it also seems like a very long time since the season started.
that no god, the content machine for this is just rolling and rolling and rolling. But like, it does, it feels like the longest and shortest time since Gran Turismo. But
Yes,
sure, it is what it
it
is, and we
does.
are here, and we're like, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah,
But the eagle-eyed listener will realize Cardinal Smith is not with us today. He
Cardinal
is
Smith is not with
fallen
us.
ill.
Yeah, in the content factory that is High Scores, High Stakes, he got his hand stuck in a machine and it got crushed, so he's not with us tonight. But it's okay
It's
because the
been 0 days since our last accident.
High Scores, High Stakes factory is located in the Victorian era, so there are no workers' rights. So don't panic about being sued. We won't be. But yes, for new listeners who don't know what High Scores, High Stakes is, I think we should explain to them in an elevator pitch. High Scores, High Stakes is three friends, three PlayStations. Every week we play a PlayStation game and challenge, and every week we play for points in our league table. Winner of the challenge gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. At the end of the season, which is 12 weeks, the person who is top of the league wins the High Scores, High Stakes Cup. Right now, after 5 episodes, our league table looks like this. In third place, on 17 points, is me. In second place, on 20 points, is Tomahawk. And first place, also on 20 points, but top of the league due to challenges won, is Cardinal Smith. So he's not here in person, but he's here in spirit and he is leading the way in the league table. If this 1 hour and something minutes podcast isn't enough high scores, high stakes content for you, though, and you want more, nay, need more, then we are all over the internet. We are everywhere you can think of. The easiest place to find all of our links is by going to highstakes.com. And there on top of the homepage is all of our lovely links to sites such as Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere else you could think of. Just click them, hit us a follow, and you will never miss a single piece of high scores, high stakes content. This week is a big week, Tomahawk. Something big happened this week to
It
us.
is. It
On
did. It was very big.
on twitch.tv, Tomahawk, I'll let you tell the good news because I think you were streaming when it actually happened.
We became an affiliate on Twitch
Yeah.
TV. This was what felt like the longest time. I know that we've been a bit spotty with our streaming, and we always used it as like supplementing the podcast. We never used it as like the primary source of anything. So to do it, like I think we ground out a lot of content over like October time, and
Hmm.
it's paid off. We have this ability for subscriptions, and we have emotes, and we have moving images and stuff like that. So it is a great time
We
to be
have the
checking out
whole heap.
twitch.tv.
We have the whole heap. Twitch.tv/high scores, high stakes. You don't want to miss it. It is a good show. We all take turns at streaming. We all play different games. So it is, I think, a pretty unique channel on Twitch. There's a
Oh
lot of
yes, I
variety
think
streamers, but there's not very many
because we've
variety
also got
streams.
no, absolutely. We've got an awful lot going on. Like we all have our own tastes and whatnot, and we also have our community game of Phasmophobia, which anyone who's not in our Discord server, get into our Discord server. We'll drop the invite code into into the community game server, and we'll just ghost hunt for a couple of hours. It has been pretty good fun. Like shout out to the mighty Ryan if he's listening.
Yep. Yep.
For
Absolutely.
for stepping up last week. Anyway, it was cracker. Great fun.
It is. It is. So, yep, that is Well, pretty much all the plugs. The last thing to say is if you've listened to this for a while and you haven't yet reviewed us, please consider giving us a 1 to 5 star rating on whatever platform you're listening on. If you've already done that, you haven't given us a written review, that would be very much appreciated. The algorithms love it. It means we get out in front of more eyes and more ears. It's fantastic. And if you haven't yet shared this podcast with a family member or a friend who you think will enjoy it, you're probably listening or watching this on your phone right now. Hit that share button, send it to them through WhatsApp or whatever it is you use. But if you've done all that, then the good news is we can move on. And I can ask Tomahawk, what are you playing?
So, the Twitch thing, I'm going to keep this rolling a little bit. I have been playing a very beloved game that has so much, we love it so much, it's nearly become a meme in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
To those who don't know, I have been streaming Dino Crisis because it's available on PlayStation Plus Classics. Wow, 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 can I just say? What a game.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. We always laughed and made fun of Luvva here, just saying it's just Resident Evil with dinosaurs. Like, how much different could it be? It cannot be further away. I still have the same sort of level of dread going across, like the Spencer Mansion. Fair play, but that's pretty much where the similarities end. The dinosaurs, man, are just different. They just hit
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And the story's great. The characters are a little bit 90s action. They're a little bit two-dimensional, but I think that's kind of part of the charm,
See, I really like the
especially looking back
characters in
now.
it. I really
No, I
like the
do, and
characters in
I
it.
don't doubt that. I think Regina has enough interesting about her, but Gale is just kind of like, I'm just the stoic commander, and you will listen to what I say because I know best. And Ricky is just like, I don't know what I'm doing, man.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
reminds me of Bill Paxton in Aliens. That's exactly what
Yes,
I
yes.
hear and see the whole time.
Yes, what I love about it is Gale is constantly throughout the entire game just popping up randomly, says something badass, and then goes, "I have to go now. The planet needs me," and it just disappears, and you have no idea what he's doing throughout the entire game.
Oh,
He's
I
just
don't
going
trust
about
him though.
doing things, um, and I think Capcom did that purposefully. That's all I'm saying. It is a great game. It's really
Okay.
fun. It's really difficult. The
Oh
puzzles.
yeah.
The thing that makes it super difficult is, and I don't know why they did it, but Mikami knows what he's doing. Is you pick up all these like notes and it'll tell you like workers, names, what department they work at, and it'll give you like a random code for a random thing. And but it doesn't allow you to store those notes anywhere. So
Oh no, it's
this is
been
why
crazy.
this is what I was always saying to you is if you're going to play it, have a notebook because you need to write down pretty much everything. Because if you don't, then it's a where did I see that note, and then it's a run around and the dinosaurs
Yeah.
respawn and stuff like that. It turns it into a real grind fest if you're not paying attention and not making little notes. But beyond that, I don't know why they removed the files from like the pause menu, but Shinji Mikami had his reasons.
The
I
whole
don't know.
game is the whole game feels like a puzzle. Like I think it was especially the getting the fingerprint scanner and adding it to the ID card, and that was a whole thing. But you're in that puzzle without realizing the puzzle has started,
It's
and
genuinely
then yeah, it's quite
wow.
clever and how it's done and how it's set up for you as well. So that's what I've been doing on Twitch. I think I've maybe got a few more streams in it left before I go on to the next one, which is TBC.
Mhm.
But what I've been playing offline is I've been going through The Last of Us
Yep.
duology
I've seen you
again.
online. Yep.
Um, and I've just sort of cracked into The Last of Us Part 2 there. And I do, I love it. The game is incredible and it's so like jarring about how much of an emotional roller coaster you go through in the
Hmm.
first hour.
Yes.
So
But
yeah,
I,
I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad down the line, but I I don't have enough time on this episode to go into everything about it. But I think game of the month. Let's do game of the month on it. That'll be the only
yeah,
way we can get
I
anything
just
done.
just the way you started that. It's like I do love that game. I was waiting for the but I hate it now.
But we'll wait until I finish it and I'll have my say on it. I've had a beef with characters on my first playthrough, but maybe that opinion will change
So
this
is this
second or third time round.
this only going to be your second playthrough of The Last of Us Part Two?
I think it's It'll be my second actually paying attention playthrough. It'll be my third full playthrough. The second
Okay.
playthrough I ever did on it, I did full infinite crafting, infinite supplies, and
Okay, yeah, yeah.
one-shot kills. Like so,
Cheat modes, the game
yeah,
shark.
yeah.
Yeah.
That moment where you can, that moment where the Rat King comes out of the ambulance and you just like down him with with a single shot. That's when I was like, maybe I've took the fun out of this game.
I think I've made a mistake. What a game.
But yeah, that's
Class.
it. That's all. I've got a nice online and an offline game at the minute, so everything's running pretty happy days for me. What about yourself, lover? What are you playing?
I well, I'm like you. I've been spending a lot of time on Twitch. My streaming game at the minute is Silent Hill 2 remake. The game I wasn't sure about. I think we're nearly done with the apartments. I feel like I've spent a lot of time in Woodside apartments in this game. I don't remember this part of the game being this long before, but what a game
Oh, it's
it is.
beautiful. Like,
It is
really, really is.
it is unbelievably good. One thing I will say is it has a ton more enemies than Silent Hill ever did. There's a lot more combat in it. The combat is heavy and it's visceral and it's I don't know, it's stressful. It is a stressful game. I think I said to yourselves, it might have been on stream, if not on stream, but certainly at some point. It is I would say it's probably the scariest game since Alien Isolation I have played, and
Oh, wow.
it is the second game after Alien Isolation where when I stopped playing it, I realized my back is sore because I'm sitting so bolt
Tense on it.
upright
Yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah, because you're just clenching your back the whole time. But
It's a
it is
funny one because
incredible.
I'm watching you play it on Twitch as well, and this is one that I've like watched passively. I've watched my brother play it back in the day, and I need to play it myself, but I'm watching it off the laptop, but I'm not watching it with headphones in, but I'm still hearing how good the musical cues are and the sound design is in that game. So I can
Hmm.
only imagine what it's like with a 3D audio
The
system in place as well. I can imagine it's just even more
the
terrifying.
3D audio. I think I said this as well last time. I've certainly said this before. It is an assault on it's
Yeah.
certainly on your hearing. There's just a lot of sound. It's purposefully done to make you on edge, but there is, you constantly have like really weird music, and then you have your radio hissing, and then you have the sound of the monsters. And I think was it during my last stream where we were in the apartment room and we got to the door and then there was like this female's voice building very 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 slowly and I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it was happening and then all of a sudden it was just in my ears everywhere it wasn't even just it just felt like because of the 3D Tempest audio whatever Sony call it it was everywhere around me. I had to pause the game and decompress because it
Oh,
unnerved me so much. It is a great
I mean,
game.
it's a big win for Bloober, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, they had all the groundwork or the foundations are there for an absolutely superb time, but they've absolutely knocked it out of the park. They've changed a lot of stuff. Um, James Sunderland was never the most expressive character in the world, and they haven't changed that, which is a strange. But the cinematography in the game, wow! I mean, just wow! That cutscene with Maria and James in the room with the big mirror. The cinematography in that room is just
Yeah.
incredible. That whole cutscene, I was just like blown away. Bloober have killed it. I think I said, I think it was a Summer Games Fest one. They've never made a great game. I can officially retract that comment because Silent Hill 2 is a great game. But beyond that, my offline game isn't actually a PlayStation one. I'm playing it on Steam.
Ooh.
It is Hades. It's not a new game. Everyone's here is going to go,
No,
it's
no,
about
not at
time.
all.
But it's basically a top-down action RPG roguelike. You play the son of Hades, and you want to go to Mount Olympus, so you're trying to escape hell. And it is, yep, it's excellent. It's fantastic.
Sounds pretty much like a roguelike, yeah.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It reminds me of a top-down Returnal, would be the easiest way to
Oh,
describe
yes,
it.
okay.
Go into chambers, enemy spawn, kill them, move on to the next chamber. Um, but just the bosses in particular. I'm on the second boss, I think. Yep, second. But the bosses are like bullet hells. And it just
Okay, okay.
just smacks me of Returnal. It's a really, really, really good game. 5 seconds
That's
outstanding.
gorgeous.
The graphics are beautiful in it. And it runs on the Steam Deck, yeah, 60 frames per second, full res, everything on high. It's just
Absolutely superb, yeah.
it's an outstanding looking game. There's a sequel to it. It's an early access. Apparently, it's got a lot of issues, but I will probably pick it up once I'm done with this one. If I'm done with this one, my track record with roguelites is awful. I don't think I've ever.
I do see as well, it's available on iOS via Netflix games, so I
Yes,
just need to
yeah,
download the Netflix app and can have a go at it that way then. So
yeah,
that could be one
yeah.
just
It's
as
really outstanding. It's outstanding.
oh,
But yeah,
well.
that's my game plan for the week. So it is. So I think these aren't the only games we have been playing, Tomahawk. We have been playing, of course, our challenge game for this week, which is Major League Baseball, The Show 24. So shall we get there now, Tomahawk?
I think so. I think so.
So here we are, Tomahawk. We have left our humble beginnings of Ireland behind. We are now stateside. We are front row seats to our first ever baseball game because I don't know about you. My knowledge of baseball revolves around the Cleveland, whatever they're called these days. The original name doesn't exist anymore because it was racist, and I'm not going to say it. But I remember my dad come back with a Cleveland baseball cap for me when I was a kid. That is the extent of my baseball knowledge, except for Ken Griffey Jr., Jose Canseco, and all the other players that were on that one episode of Simpsons.
The Springfield Isotopes, yes. Oh God.
But yeah, that is my knowledge of baseball. I have never played the show before. I downloaded it a week in advance of this challenge and played. Well, I want to say I played a game. I started a game and I got about 2 innings deep, and I was like, "This is gonna take forever," and I don't have this sort of time for a video game. I think I was playing
Oh
it
no,
for about
absolutely.
20 minutes, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't a clue what was going on. Grown up rounders with men wearing pinstripe uniforms. I hadn't a clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
How about
No,
you?
that's it. I've been to a baseball game. They last all day. They can last all day. I also downloaded this. I downloaded this game sort of when we had announced all the challenges, and I just wanted to have them all on the hard drive and then just knock them off as we finished them. Also, very alarming. This game is 99 gigabytes as a install.
It
This
is.
is the similar vein to Sniper Elite. It's huge,
Mhm.
absolutely humongous game. I played the regular sort of quick games, played a few sort of innings, as you say, on that. And then I was like, oh, we're doing Home Run Derby. I'll just do a Home Run Derby. I may as well have not bothered playing the exhibition matches because
Yeah. Yeah.
the skill is not translatable.
No, no,
But
it's
the game is bloody tough for a
yeah.
sports game. For a mindless sports game is so hard.
Yeah, yeah, I will agree with that. It is a true simulation of a sport. It's not like it's not accessible at all. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
they do try to like, make it accessible, but we'll talk about that when we're watching the gameplay here. So basically, our challenge this week was, as you say, a home run derby. Basically, me, you, Cardinal, all jumped on into an online lobby. We all picked the same player.
In the interest
um,
of fair, yep.
and then 4 minutes home run derby, highest number of home runs wins. So basically, yep, the points, the scoring system for this week are actually 3-2-1. Second week running, we've reverted back to our original point system.
Simple times, no, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so whoever scores the most home runs gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, and the person who gets the fewest gets 1 point. And also in there is one bonus point for the player who hits the longest home run. So that means, yeah, I mean, our league table is really, really, really tight. All it needs is for this to get to, if Cardinal comes last and I come first, it turns the league on its head.
Big swing, yeah.
So
There
I
can like
think,
a lot of implications, I think, on this one definitely.
no, absolutely, absolutely. So I think without much more beating around the bush, shall we hit play and watch the gameplay?
Yeah, we'll
I
go
think our
straight
running
into
order
it.
for this, we've decided on we're going to go from first to third in the league. So Cardinal first, and then you, and then me.
Yep, makes sense.
Then let's get to it now, Tomahawk. Let's go. So here we are. We are at a random baseball field whose name escapes me. I'm not gonna lie, but you know the rules, you know the scoring system. The only thing you don't know is the team we picked and the player we picked. So if you're watching the video format of this, you can see that we have picked the Houston Astros, and the player that we have all picked in the name of fairness to ensure that this is a skill-based challenge is Jordan Alvarez. So 4 minutes, home run derby, highest score wins. Let's go, Tomahawk. Hit that play button, mate. Let's go. And we'll talk about this game as we are watching Cardinal Smith's attempt at it. Um, Go on ahead. I feel like I
Yeah,
interrupted you there.
it was really interesting because like I think when we first planned to have this one, it was a case of, oh, we'll do it in a tournament bracket, we'll just play against the CPUs. So whenever we went into this setting for the first time, I was like, hold on, we can actually play in real time together. I think this made it that little bit more spicy for the challenge as well because we've hid the scores for the sake of the edit as well, but like you
Yes.
could see everything in real time, and it just made everything like panic stations went real, like pretty much straight away. If you hit a
Yeah.
bad ball, then like you're hoping that yourself or me or Cardinal are having a bad one. Well,
Yeah, it was a funny one because as I said, I downloaded this the week before the challenge deadline day, and I played a lot of single player sort of home run derbies, and yeah, I was expecting it just to I go first, Cardinal goes second, Tomahawk goes third type thing. Just the way it works in the single player mode, I couldn't believe it
yeah,
when all three of us were dropped into a lobby and all three of us were playing at exactly the same time. And the fact that the game shows you everyone's ball when once it leaves the bat. It shows you the distance they're hitting those things as well. And it's just like,
yeah,
oh no. And when things go wrong, yeah, panic sets in. It's like, oh, I'm X amount of home runs behind, or oh no, that's my third ball in a row where it's fallen just short of the boundary line. And all these things are going through your head. It's a real sweaty time.
yeah. No, that's it. And I know the Cardinal. Whenever we went to record, because him not being well was kind of, not gonna lie, he was a little bit crabby,
He was very
but
crabby. Boo that man.
but he was I think he was using that crabbiness to fuel his baseball ability because what are we now? Just coming up to the halfway mark. He's hit 7 home runs here,
Mhm.
and he's seldom hit them short as well. So when he hits them far. But even when he isn't hitting a home run, he's hitting them bloody well close.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what got into him here, but but yes,
Oh, he was a
every
demon. He was an absolute baseball demon at this point. I was very much questioning whether or not he's played this game before.
I don't think he has because I think he was downloading it mere moments before we were like, "Are we playing this or what?" It's just
But
raw
yeah,
baseball
I
and
didn't see it coming whenever we booted this up and we were all, you could see the flight path of everyone's ball in real time, and I was like,
mhm.
oh dear, what have we gotten ourselves? Like, I think it just elevated the challenge because it is, at the end of the day, it's 4 minutes of just slogging baseballs as hard as you can.
Yes, yes. I'm trying to read the pictures, what he wants to do with the ball. So for people who have never played this game, there are three available types of swing. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what they do, but if you find yourself swinging and missing quite a lot, then you're swinging the wrong way for the ball that's coming towards you. So square, X, and circle button are all different types of swing, and you can also aim where your shot is going to, where you want your shot to go. So you can go straight to the left, and then to the right, and extreme right as well.
Yeah.
And it's chaos. It's just there's a lot in those 1 or 2 seconds from that ball leaving the pitcher's hand to hopefully making contact with your bat. And I found at times, especially when things were going wrong, it was very easy to overcomplicate what you're doing and change
Yeah.
your mind at the last minute, and then you knuckle the ball, and it's like, oh my
When
days.
it goes wrong for consecutive shots, and then it's having to readjust and hope that everyone else is, because you don't have an awful lot of time to prep for the shot, and you also don't have
Hmm.
a lot of time to look at the score. So we're 3, 2, 1, and that is Cardinal Smith finished. He has hit 14
14.
home runs
And
with the so far longest home run of 467 yards.
it's a heck of a
Now,
that's a
I
distance.
will say, um, 500 isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Yep.
I've played this before, like, in this sort of prep mode, and yeah, it definitely depends on what your player is for power and whatnot, really. But 467, given given he's played the game once
Yeah.
before, was
Yeah.
was pretty good luck.
Yeah, I think my personal record for longest home run is like 482 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not massive amount more than that. But yeah, so Cardinal Smith then, our first home run derby inductee, hopefully into the Hall of Fame. You never know if people, the right people watch this. You never know. Um, 14 home runs, and his longest was 467 meters. That is incredible, incredible. So it is. What a turnout, and to think he literally wasn't feeling well, really didn't want to play this game, and then was a bit of a grump when he was playing it. To come in and put in a performance like that, it is crazy. It is crazy. But yeah, that is it. That is run one done. Obviously, there is no name that game this week, so we have unilaterally decided because Cardinal's not here, I get +2 on the name that game leaderboard. So that's great. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding, Cardinal. Why you? Why you? Yeah, we won't be doing name that game this week. So I think why waste any more time? Let's get straight into
Just
your
more
home run
baseball.
derby
Yeah,
attempt. More baseball.
just
Let's
more,
go.
more baseball. That's what the people came to see.
And here we are. We're back with very little pause in between plays. It's almost as if Cardinal's not here and we've had to adjust our format for this week. But without beating around the bush any further, let's get into Tomahawk's home run derby. Are you ready, Tom?
Let's go do it. I hit that play
Let,
button.
let's hit that play button, mate. So, Cardinal has got us off to an absolute blinder. So he has with 14 home runs. I, I think going into this, my personal best in the home run derby is 13. So,
Yeah,
so I'm a bit feeling the old trepidation of going up against him, but it's totally fair. This game, we're all playing the same character, obviously. One thing I want to talk about that I don't think we talk about at all during Cardinals is how this game looks. Because may I just say, this game is an exceptionally good-looking game.
oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like, for as basic as the mechanics are, as basic as like the gameplay is as such, it looks beautiful. Like, I kind of laugh when you see a sort of Sony first party and you think, oh, it's gonna be gorgeous because Sony are backing it. But my God, it looks good. And I just don't think you would get that if, say, like Microsoft possibly were
Oh,
sort of
shots
fronting
fired.
this. It sounds really weird, but you would know the difference if you saw that as like a Microsoft led sports game. It just seems to me like the graphical fidelity on it just looks so good, and the players move like actual players, and they, even if you're playing it in like an exhibition match, they all have their like little tropes and how they move about like humans. They're not
Hmm.
static waiting for you to do something.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the way every player has its own unique sort of animation. If you strike out, or if you just miss if you miss
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
ball, they all have their wee thing. Some players throw the bat down, it bounces back into their hands. Other players will look away and all here's her business. I love the whole, it's all the little touches about it. I don't watch baseball. I don't think I've ever watched a game of baseball. I'm presuming this is very, very representative of what baseball is and what it looks like. It looks great. I think this is San Diego Studios. So just before we go on with this conversation, Tomahawk, we're just over the halfway mark here, and you have got 5 home
Yes,
runs.
I am struggling on this, and as I'm watching the kind of leaderboard, I'm watching everyone climb, and I'm sort of, as it stands, I'm 2 behind Cardinal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's getting the gap sort of does start to increase a little bit, so I'm having to constantly be hitting great shot after great shot and just hope. At this point, I'm just hoping that someone plays a bad shot.
Yeah,
Uh,
because at this moment in time, you are a couple behind Cardinal, but the way this game works is the timer doesn't stop. So every pitch, the timer is counting down and waiting for your
it's real
ball
time, yeah.
to land. The counter is still counting down. I think I want to say it's about 7 seconds from pitch leaving the ball leaving the pitcher's hand to it landing. So it means you only get about 9 pitches per minute, which means, yeah, if you fall
Oh
behind,
yeah,
you're
you
probably a
seriously
loser.
are paying for it now. So I've just hit like back to back to back home runs here, and the nearly the detriment is to go for a longest home run. You're sacrificing seconds, especially
Hmm.
if you hit one that is like super high and super long.
Hmm.
The come down time of it is ridiculous. So you're wanting to like, for the sake of getting maximum output,
Yep.
it's low and strong. But I'm at 11 now with 35, or roughly 30 seconds to
Yep.
go here. So I'm, as it stands, oh, no, I'm now level with Cardinal Smith.
You are.
And we
You are.
have, from what I can see here, we have
You're.
both just hit a little bum ball.
Yep, and you're both sitting on 12. We know what Cardinal ends up with, so the question is, do you have 2 more in you?
That puts me at 13 with 10 seconds to
Oh,
go. Then it's actually like, I remember this in real time, and now I'm watching it back with 3 seconds left, and it is just as stressful. But what I have a problem with, and I have a little bit of beef with this here,
mm-hmm.
the clock hits 0, but
Yes,
the shot still kind of registers. But
yes.
I can clearly see that my ball clears the stands, or at least like is in the middle tier of the stands, but
I don't know.
doesn't register.
I don't know.
That's all I'm going to say there.
I
But
don't know. I'll have to review that. We'll have to get VAR on the case.
as it has finished, I have also ended on 14 home runs.
You
And I've
have.
fallen short from Cardinal Smith by a single yard at 466 as my longest home run.
You have. You've
So
fallen short. So the
not
game.
not a bad pullback, but level. I'm not getting a bonus point. Let's say that
No,
much.
no, and the game uses the longest home run as like the differentiator between draws like of this nature as well. So the home run derby is actually like a knockout competition, um,
Yeah,
where you lose the weakest, the least number of home runs, or the if it's a draw, the shortest,
whoever the
longest home run.
lowest distance is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's an interesting one because I imagine what happens. It did come up on my screen that I have been eliminated. So what I imagine happens is that the 4 minute timer resets, and then you and
Yes.
Cardinal were to go again for like a final as such. But
Yes. That's
for the
that's
purpose of
exactly what happens.
the challenge, it's not required as really in this instance.
No, we're not interested in it at all. We are interested in a one and done home run derby. So as things stand right now, Cardinal is heading for another challenge win, which to my count would be 4 for this season. And you are currently sitting in second place. So if it stays like this, status quo, there is no changes in the league. It's all good. another week survived, top of the league for Cardinal underscore Smith underscore. But there is only one way to find out how I do, and it is by watching my video. So I say we get there now. And here we are, the last player to go. Player bottom of the league, but one-time champion. And the people's champion every season. You know, that's all I get on social media is you should have won that season, Luvva. You were robbed, Luvva. Hashtag justice for Luvva, all that sort of good stuff. Tom's a cheater. Kick Tom, all this here sort of business. My social media is on fire all the time with people just giving their unfailing support to the love of cause. It's appreciated. I don't remember your names. I probably never will remember your names, but it is appreciated. Thank you very much. Of course, I'm kidding. None of these messages exist. It's all on my mind. But you know what isn't on my mind? This run. Let's hit the play button, Tom, and let's see how many home runs I can muster up.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, Love. I played this game just a bit and was like, for the 100 gig it takes to install, it's a good bit of fun, and you can just play it for a home run derby or a couple of innings. You're not going to play a full 9. I think if you're going to do it, play it with someone, because 9 innings on your own is
It's laborious.
a bit of a slog. Now this is quite interesting getting to see your screen, because I'm seeing am I seeing an arrow of where you're roughly aiming?
Yes, so that's what I said. You can use your left analog stick to pick where you want it to go. So I don't know if it was in my mind or if this is an actual thing, but I felt the worst place to aim your shots was straight back over the pitcher's head because it seemed way longer
Yeah.
than just hitting it to either the left or the right. The only thing with hitting it left or right is that you could fall short of the foul line, which are the two big yellow pylons on the left and the right.
Yeah, because I fell victim to that a lot of times, because it would like hook it and then come in too early, or you have to nearly get it beyond. There's like a yellow pillar, and you nearly have to get it beyond that
Yeah, that's the
for it to
foul
count.
ball line. So it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
If it goes in behind them, it doesn't count, no matter how the distance. And
So I was aware that you could sort of aim the shot, but I'm also very aware that the trade-off you have for that is it comes down to timing. So if you want to aim it and like hook it out to the right, because all the batsman is left-handed at this point, so what you have to do is you nearly have to be in the standard edition, like standard version of this home run derby, it gives you like too early, too late, and perfect.
Yeah.
You nearly want to be hitting this like as early as you can to accommodate that hook of a shot, really, if you're especially if you want to go that shorter side.
yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to talk here without really knowing the facts of it. It feels to me as if you swing early, you're more likely to hit it with the far end of your bat, so the end furthest away from your
Yeah.
hand. And if you hit it too late, you're hitting it closer and closer to your hand. I don't know if that's accurate at all. What I do absolutely love about it is as soon as you make contact with the ball, you know whether or not
Oh,
it's
the
going to
haptic
be
feedback on it.
a good one because the sound when you hit that ball, absolutely perfect. It just makes a and it's like,
Yeah, like
this is a good
you
one.
feel it in the controller as well, and you feel it like right up the entire dual sense as well. But as it stands, we are just over the halfway point for Luvva, and you're 12 home runs, so already 13 home runs, I should say now. So already
Yeah.
we are matching myself and Cardinal's score, and it looks like we're about to go. Oh no, that last shot! I thought that was that.
It fell short, yeah. No,
Destined
it's
for the
just
stands there.
there's so much to like about this game. If only it was a better sport. San Diego Studio are wasted here. They should be making something a football game. This is football. Bring back this is football, Sony, if you're listening. But no, I'm absolutely killing this. Actually, to be honest, I didn't realize how quickly I got the first 14 home runs. We still have a minute left, and I'm
That's
sitting
it.
on
So we're tied at
14.
14. Yeah. It's
So if
it's
I
funny
get
though, because 4 minutes seems like a long old time as well, and then we're still at a minute left.
Yep.
all you have to do is one more home run to cinch this,
Yeah.
and I think that's going to be it there. That is 15 home runs now.
Yeah. All I need now is another home run that's really long because I think my longest home run here is 462 meters, 462 meters. So it's about 5 meters short
I think
of
it's measured in
Cardinal.
yards,
Is
Luvva.
it
I think if you're
yards?
if
Bloody
you're yeah,
Americans.
if you're hitting this at half a kilometer away, there may
I
be an
suppose.
inclination.
I suppose, but it's
But it's a laugh.
462 bananas.
I'm watching the shot tracker for all of us in real time. Like obviously for every video here,
Yes.
90% of the time we're hitting them more or less the same distance and same power. So um it's quite cool being able to see that and accurately judge this, as
Hmm.
a skill-based competition as opposed to just, oh, well, let's pick whoever characters we want and go from
Yep.
there.
Yep. I think I just saw your ball go into the stands. I think you may have been mugged off here. That is it. We've watched all three runs. My final score then was 18 home runs and the longest home run of 462 yards, not meters. Which means then that I have come in first place. Cardinal has controversially come in second, and you have come in third. Tomahawk, um, based on 1 meter, or sorry, 1 yard of distance in the
Now,
longest
this is the laugh.
home
The
run.
laugh about this, I think I spent about 2 days after the result as such, and we're waiting to get a record time for this done. I think I must have spent so much fighting because very rarely that I kick up a fuss. It's very rarely that any controversy comes my way in this podcast.
No, it's not. Absolute
So
maniac.
my laugh about this was, and as you said, we've set a precedent in how scores are done, especially in that when the game gives you a scoring system and a tier as well. So I'm
Yes.
happy to take it at this point. Just let you know, I'm not happy because I know for a fact that even though it hit zero, my shot was registered, and I'm gonna, for the purposes of this edit, I'm gonna call a VAR check just so they knows it's not just me that is controversial in this podcast.
I'm sure the editor will put in a VAR check for you here. Um,
Beautiful.
all I will say is I don't know much about American sport, but I do know that overtime, so overtime shots in basketball, for it to count, the ball must leave the player's hand as the buzzer hits zero, or just before it hits zero. So my only thought is, I wonder if you have struck that ball after zero, and that's why it didn't count,
Possibly.
which could be a thing. But we'll get a VAR
Yeah.
check done on that, and we'll see, and we'll let the audience make up their own mind. But yes, in our chat, you were fighting. In fact, no, fighting's the wrong word. I'm gonna out you here. I'm going
No, let's
all.
do it. Let's do it.
I'm gonna leak group DMs
There's
in
only
our
so
group
much
chat.
baseball you could talk about. So let's talk about the controversy of the challenge. Let's hash this narrative out for another week at least, anyway.
In our group chat, my memory of this is I have got the updated league table done, and I've given myself 2 points because me and Cardinal drew. And I had to, as host, Lord, and Savior of this podcast, I had to assert my authority and remind you that we have precedents in in this season, in fact, of draw in score, but points being awarded. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just go watch the Quidditch episode. And in the second and third games of that Quidditch episode, I think it's me and you both occasions, we draw on points.
We
The
had tied,
game
but the way that the game has,
has
whatever
separated us.
metric the game has separated it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so I think
in the interest of equality throughout the season, I think at that point I was like, yes, we can't start arguing and changing the rules now, otherwise this fails and we may break up as a podcast. So I'm not willing
I
to run that
think
risk.
I yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's in the event of a scored draw like this, the only fair way of doing it is by just taking what the game says as gospel. It's the only participant in the challenges that's impartial. We all have vested interests
Uh-huh.
in ourself. So I think I don't think we can change that. There's no fair way or we would have arguments every single week on the podcast, and that would be terrible listening. I love the enemy arc that you're currently going through, and I just thought I'd fuel the fire, for another week. You know what I
Why
mean?
not? Why not?
But
But
yes, what?
for once, though, the controversy isn't me causing it. I'm actually
No,
kind of a victim of this one in this instance.
I mean no on both counts. No,
Fair.
I'm afraid. um, but with all this being said, what does this actually mean for our league table? Well, it means that um, because you came third, you get 1 point. Cardinal came second, so he gets 2 points. However, Cardinal also got the longest home run, so he gets the bonus point. So Cardinal ends up with a total of 3, and I end up coming first with a total of 3. So our league table after 6 episodes looks like this. In third place on 20 points, it's me. In second place on 21 points, it is you, Tomahawk. And in first place, still on with but now with 23 points, it is Cardinal Smith. So the league hasn't changed in positions, but everything has changed.
Compacted.
It
Absolutely.
has.
It's funny. I've hit a little bit of a wobble as such because yes, I finished second in Sniper Elite, but I also
Mhm.
died twice in Sniper Elite, so
Technically, you finished third in
a,
Sniper Elite on points,
a
basically.
not
Yeah.
a 0 point week despite like doing okay, I suppose. And
Yeah.
then this week I think I'm just a victim of we were playing it and we were like I think at one point you may have said, "Is that it?" And I went, "Actually, we'll do one more and that'll be the one that counts." And it just so happened that I was absolutely
Y-
caning it
y-
in the practice rounds.
Yeah, I think we said because Cardinal had never played it before. I think we all said, we'll do 2 practice just so you can get a feel for what's actually being asked of you, and then the third one will be your score, which is what we always do. We never just go, "Oh, we'll do one more," because then that
Yeah.
could also be unfair. We always like say we'll do 2, and then the third one's it, and then we always sort of confirm with one another, is this it? And in the 2 practice games that we played, you caned it. I think in the first one you got 19, which would have got you first place here. I think in my practices, I think I got like 13,
Single. I
and
think there
then
was one you
six,
genuinely got like single digits. Yeah, it was.
six.
It was. You're a victim of the RNG machine to a degree because I think the pitches are also different per
Yes,
player.
yes. So yeah,
It's interesting.
there's like 5 or 6 different styles of pitching they can do, and it all comes down to recognizing them and knowing whether to hit X, square, or circle. Because
Yeah.
they are slightly different arcs. So if he throws it low, you have to use the circle button because that sweeps almost like a golf swing. It sweeps
Yeah,
way down
it's
low.
one of those. It's a big trade off of like needing to know the game, and also I think for us it works quite well that we do these like with
Yeah.
minimal proficiency as well. So
Yes. There's Americans listening to us are what 13.7% of
cursed that
American
we're being
audience are currently
cancelled.
screaming at how bad we are because they can get like 50 or 60 in this, and we're going, look at me with 18, I'm the best, I'm the king. I'm in the MLB Hall of Fame after that performance. Is incredible. But no, any last words to say on MLB The Show? It's a good game. It is actually genuinely a good game. I just
If
wish
if
it
there
was a
was a
better
way
sport.
if there was a way to segregate it with like multiplayer and then single player or that kind of way and just like purely have that home run derby as a solo entity for less storage space, I'd keep that all day long. But it's
Yeah.
100 gigabytes, so no,
It's
it can't.
massive. It's massive. There's a lot going on in it. I can see where the 100 gigabytes goes because you play the game, or even just when you boot the game, if you don't make a selection within like 2 minutes, the game automatically loads a random game with full
Like a full
commentary.
trailer and full commentary and everything. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah. It's
full game. It will simulate a game. It is really quite cool. The story mode is really quite cool as well. There's like a whole load of like historical sort of elements to it. So so there is, you can do like classic sort of storylines of how the sport of baseball grew to what it is now in America and Japan. No, it's a really, really, really solid game. I just wish it was a sport that I knew and really,
That's it. I think
without sounding too
we
harsh,
did it
cared
with
about.
something different as well because we've done football in previous challenges. We did what's the
Golf.
last sport game? Golf as well. So I think it's nice to be varied, but I think it's also nice to be playing a sport that you actually are familiar with at the end of
Wha-
the day. But
Yeah.
there it is.
Watch
That's
this.
part of the part of the fun, isn't it?
Watch this space for Madden 25 in season 5. But yes, what I think all we need to do now, Tom, is wrap this up and move on
Cool.
to episode 7. Let's get the wrap up section now. And that is it, Tom. Another episode all wrapped up. No move in the league, but big changes in the league. It has compressed, it has compacted. It is, I think I said this last week as well. Last week was as close as the league has ever been. This week, it's closer than what it's ever been. There is 1 point separating me from you. I have sort of rallied, I think, as a joke in the Vampire Survivors. I think the poll for that episode was, is this the start of a Luvva comeback? It could very well be. It
Could
could
be.
very well
That's
be.
it's a good showing at least anyway. But next week's challenge is going to be a little bit tricky. It's a bit of a spanner in the works in terms of what we usually do on a podcast. We talked a while back about how the 2v2 element is gone now.
Yep.
So we have to find a way to like change things. So personally, I'm really looking forward to next week. If you want to disclose the game.
Personally, I like this game, but I'm not looking forward to the challenge because it could be an absolutely logistical nightmare. Next week's challenge game is Tom Clancy's The Division. And I'm not telling you what the
Yeah.
challenge is, but it may or may not take place in the dark zone. um, I don't know how it's going to work, but if it works, it has the potential to be something truly great. So make sure you catch next week's episode when we are challenging each other in a game of The Division. What are we doing? How are we going to make it work? What's going on? You'll find out next week, I suppose, won't you? But yeah, that is basically all we need to say, except for everyone's favorite part of the podcast, the wrap up section,
Plugs.
social media roundup. So let's just repeat what I said at the start of the episode. That's what I do. Everyone loves it. I got 16 Twitter messages this week saying, see the wrap up section, that social media roundup for the second time. It's exactly the same as the first. It's my favorite part. It's incredible. I wish you would do it 3 times, one to start, one in the middle, and one at the end. But we're not going to do that. There's barely enough time to get the content into an episode of 1 hour 15 minutes. But yes, all joking aside, if this isn't enough high scores, high stakes content for you throughout your week, and you want to see more of us, as I said at the start, we are streaming really regularly now on twitch.tv. But yes, we are on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. We are everywhere across the internet. The easiest place to find the links for everywhere we are and all the content we are making throughout the week is just directing your browser at highscoreshighstakes.com. On the top of the homepage, there's all the links there. We like icons, click them, it'll bring us straight there. There's also a little email button there if you want to send us an email message. That would be great. Yes, if you haven't liked the podcast yet on whatever platform you're listening to us on, please do give us a star rating, 1 to 5, whatever you think the podcast deserves. Score away. If you want to give us a written review, that would be even better because algorithms love written reviews. And if you haven't shared this with a family member or a friend, please do that as soon as possible, if not right now.
Absolutely.
But with all that being said, the only thing left to say is happy Mr. Love Lover. This has been High Scores, High Stakes. Thanks for listening. See you on Monday. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.